Hello. It's my third time trying to film this. I've had a few people ask how I make harmony guides, and well, I thought I'd show you. So I actually already started making this, and then my audio wasn't picking up well, so I'm trying again. So to my right, I have the score for 6, the first song specifically. I'm going to show you how to make guides for it. So I always have this off to the side for reference. I don't just pull this out of my head. I am not that talented. Thank you if you thought I was, but no. So the first step is to give it a title, XY, subtitle 6, because I already did this. It just remembers the composer and lyricist from last time. You would choose the instruments. Obviously there's 6 vocalists, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's 5, 6. And piano, you would choose the key signature. You would choose the time signature. You'd input the number of measures. I always just put a ridiculously high number, and then I can delete the excess later. And you input the tempo. And then you end up with this. You can go in and edit the name of each one, put the name of each queen. You can put their vocal range. If you decided to put specific voice parts in the instrument list, it will have predetermined ranges that you may want to change here. Because if you go outside those ranges, when you input the notes, they will show up in red. I personally hate it, so I always change it. But I'm not actually going to do that. I'm going to open up the one that I was already working on. We're not going to save this. Open recent. So we've got our score, or the beginning of a score here. Let me just see where I left off here. Okay, so to enter note input mode, you press N. But that's not actually who we want to go to, because the next person who sings is Anne Boleyn, so N. And she actually doesn't start until the end of this measure. So if you... Oh, cat! Go lie down, please. No. So the numbers at the top or to the side of your keyboard control the duration of the note. You can also select it up here. And then each note corresponds to the key. So A would be A, and so on. But she doesn't start to the end of this. So if we want a rest, let's say a half rest, that'd be the number 6. And then if you press 0, it'll give you a rest. And then these aren't actually sung, they're spoken. And if you look at the score, you can see that they have the little X note heads. So you can actually do that in MuseScore by pressing the note head, and then if you press repeat, it'll repeat that note head. And then recently what I've started doing, because I agree with the comments that I sometimes receive, it's very annoying when they're not actually singing, they're rhythmically speaking, and all you hear is the same note over and over. So if you select these notes, and then you go to View and Inspector, and then select Notes and scroll down, and then uncheck Play, these will now be played silently. So I've done that here already. And this is the first entrance for Anne Boleyn, so we're going to press Control T to get our little text box, and then we're going to type her name. And then if you press on the note and then Control L, you can put the lyrics in. Beheaded, dash between each syllable because it's one syllable per note. Then Jane Seymour is down here. Beheaded. Seymour died. And then we have a change of time signature. So also normally when I'm muting some of these notes, I'll do a bunch of them at once and then mute them all at the same time to save myself some time. We have a time signature change. It's going to 2/4. If you press that, it'll do that automatically for you. And then it's the end of, if you look at the sheet music anyway, it's the end of this system. I prefer to follow the sheet music. You don't really have to, at least as far as this goes, but if you go down to breaks and spacers, system break, there you go. Then we go right back into 4/4, like that. But not before Cleaves comes in. First. And then normally what I'll do is I'll do the piano for one page of the PDF first, then I'll do all the vocals, and then I'll move on to the next page. So it'll typically go for the middle of the range the first time you input a note. But let's say you put it in yourself, but you want an octave lower and you don't want to figure out how many ledger lines down that is. If you press the control and the it'll jump down the octave. If you want to make it a chord, you press shift and then whatever other notes are in the chord from bottom to top. If you need the little accent, shift V. If you need it to be staccato, shift S. And then if you just want to repeat that chord, press repeat. And you can also copy and paste measures because a lot of music has repetition. You actually could have copied this whole thing, but I wanted to show you how to do some of this. And then again, it's the end of a system. If you had two notes that are tied, so let's say that is tied to an eighth note, you just press shift and plus. If you had a dotted note, you would press whatever the note duration is and then a period, and oops, it's dotted. Same goes for a rest. If you press the 0 button, it'll generate a rest given whatever note duration you have selected. And let's say that's the end of the piece. You go to Tools, you can remove all of the extra measures. It'll automatically put the double bar lines at the end. Yeah, you've got your dynamics here. Typically, I put all of the voices at triple forte because I find they can be drowned out by the piano otherwise, which isn't very good when you're making harmony guides. There are a lot of shortcuts. I don't know them all, but you can also find anything that you need to input manually will be in your palette here. If that ever disappears, you just go to View and then Palette. What else? Sorry, the cat jumped up behind me and now I've lost my train of thought. I don't know. You see what you do? Yeah, you're evil. You're the bane of my existence. That's my eyeball. Don't sniff that. Yeah. I don't know where I was going. But I think that's all I'll show for now. Oh, there's a tempo change here. You can select tempo here, and you can always just double click to edit it, or you can go Alt Shift T, and then a little shortcut. There's also there's a lot of shortcuts. I don't know them all. There is a dedicated forum for MuseScore. I've never had to ask anything there myself because most of the time when I Google whatever it is I'm trying to find out, someone else has already encountered the problem or asked the question and someone else has answered them. So it's they're very good that way. Um, and I'm sure that there's probably a dictionary of all the shortcuts on there as well. I think that for now that's all I'm going to show you. If you have any questions, I can try to answer them in the comments, or if it's something that warrants a bit more thought, I can try to make another tutorial. But for now, that is all. Bye.